This is day 304, the Lernaean Hydra. During a walk yesterday, my daughter registered a complaint about her summer homework, which concerns Greek mythology. Her assignment is to read and annotate selections of ancient texts and annotate them. She said she thought these stories were rather stupid because the Greek gods were guilty of all sorts of depraved behavior. I really had no argument to counter her other than some of the stories are cool, for which I got the typical eye roll that only a daughter can do. This got me thinking this morning about which stories I remember the most and which I think had some real meaning behind them that could prove value in my life. The first thought that came to me was the story of the 12 labors of Hercules. The second thought was of the Lernaean Hydra. The Hydra was a serpentine lake monster that dwelt at the Lake of Lerna, which was rumored to be an entrance to the underworld. Lerna was significant because this is the location in which the 49 Danaids, or Danaids, I think is what they're called. They were the daughters of the king of Libya, and they had buried the heads of their 49 Egyptian husbands, which were removed rather unceremoniously on their wedding night. One daughter decided not to go along with the pact because there was actually 50 that got married that night. But I will not spoil the story. Her husband made a wise decision on that wedding night, and he was spared. You might also think that this sounds familiar because in The Lord of the Rings, Gandalf and the Fellowship of the Ring are stuck outside the Mines of Moria, and when they finally figure out how to open the doors, they are accosted by the Watcher in the Water, which is a giant sea creature with many arms. A description of this Hydra is in order. The Hydra was the offspring of two very powerful and evil creatures, a giant monstrous serpent giant, the most powerful in all of the Greek mythos, and a woman, a snake creature, a half woman, half snake creature. She gave birth to lots of terrible beasts by different monster fathers. Mother's Day must have been a real blast in her cave. At any rate, the Hydra had poisonous breath, and the blood was so nasty that even its smell would kill a human. The Hydra had lots of heads. The exact number and what those heads look like grow and change in the description the older the narrative gets. Eventually, we would get to the point where if you cut off one of these heads, two heads would regrow in their place. Hercules got a hint from his nephew before his journey that if he burned the neck of the chopped head with fire, then there would be no regrowth. So this is a hideous monster. What better creature to guard a portal to Hades? On the surface, this is a fun story of Hercules talking about this creature, figuring out how to kill it, and then using the poison to kill other foes in his travels. He made Hera really mad by so doing, and as a consequence created a new constellation in the heavens, the Hydra, and she placed it next to the sign of Cancer. Interestingly enough, if you're an amateur astronomer, you will know that when the sun travels through Cancer, the constellation Hydra is closer, or at least I've been told. There are some deeper meanings to this symbolic representation of this monstrous creature. Hercules travels through these 12 labors. No coincidence. They were all related to the constellations in the heavens. It seems that as he has these travails, everything has some deeper meaning, including this Hydra. We can view the Hydra as a symbolic representation of the destruction and chaos that we are always close enough to that we must keep a weary eye open. At any moment, we can find ourselves falling into the pit of chaos and must be aware of the many forces that are around us. I like to view the Hydra as a representation of the ugly challenges that I have to overcome in my life. The struggle to defeat the Hydra is symbolic of the effort it takes to tackle complex and persistent problems. Sometimes these problems can take the form of my own personal vices and poor choices. It seems when I get rid of one of them, several more pop up in their place. The only way to get rid of these types of behavior is to burn them at the root. Ouch. Problems can grow and strong and take residence if you don't take care of them. When they are small, they can be incredibly difficult to kill if they are not properly addressed. This is clearly symbolic of the things in our personal and professional lives that we do not think through very well and find ourselves dealing with the monster once we get to a certain scale or at a time when we least want the uninvited guest. Hercules' victory over the Hydra at the Lake of Lerna is a great way to remind ourselves that good can triumph over evil. We can overcome our problems, restoring order with chaos. With perseverance and a little cleverness, we can overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges.